Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Hold me tight, snuggle up, day is done.
It's bedtime with Barney all over the world. Bedtime with Barney for all boys and girls.
Oh, I love story time. Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Let me read just for you, you're the one.
It's bedtime with Barney, so come gather round. Bedtime with Barney.
And we're story bound. Hi there, this is your friend Barney, and I've got a very special story just for you. Now let's see if you can guess the name of the story. It's about a little girl and 1, 2, 3 bears. That's right. It's Goldilocks and the 3 bears, and I hope it's one of your favorite stories because I just love to tell it. So get good and comfy. Snuggle up just the way you like best. There. Now I'll tell the story, and you can use your imagination. Here we go. Once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived together in a little house in the deep green woods. There was a great big Papa Bear, a middle-sized Mama Bear, and a cute little baby bear. One morning, the 3 bears sat down at the table to have a nice breakfast of porridge. That's a yummy, gooey kind of cereal that's cooked on the stove. Oh, but when they tasted their porridge, they got a surprise.
Ooh, whoa, boy, that's hot.
Oh, dear.
Too hot.
Oh, yes, their porridge was much too hot to eat. But Papa Bear had a good idea.
Why don't we all go for a nice long walk in the woods? And when we get back, our porridge will be cool enough to eat.
Great.
And that's just what the 3 bears did. They went for a nice long walk in the woods. Well, in the very same woods, there was a little girl named Goldilocks. She had been picking flowers in the woods, and now she wasn't quite sure how to find her way home.
Do I go this way or that way?
So when Goldilocks saw the bear's house, she ran to it, hoping to find some help. She knocked on the door, but no one answered. And the door swung wide open.
There's nobody home.
Goldilocks walked right into the 3 bears' house. And the very first thing she saw was a cozy little living room with 3 chairs in it. She was tired, so she tried sitting in the great big chair. But
Oh, this chair is much too hard.
next, Goldilocks tried sitting in the middle-sized chair. But
Oh, this chair is much too soft.
finally, Goldilocks sat down in the tiny little chair.
Ah, this chair is just right.
But she had only been sitting for a moment when something happened.
Oh, why this little chair has broken into pieces.
As Goldilocks picked herself up, she suddenly smelled a delicious, yummy smell.
I smell something good to eat.
Goldilocks followed her nose right into the kitchen. And there on the big wooden table were 3 bowls of porridge. And she was very hungry. So Goldilocks took a spoonful of porridge from the great big bowl, but
Oh, this porridge is much too hot.
next she took a spoonful of porridge from the middle-sized bowl. But
Ew, Oh, this porridge is too cold. Brr.
Finally, Goldilocks took a spoonful of porridge from the tiny little bowl and...
Ah, this porridge is just right.
And Goldilocks kept on eating until the tiny little bowl was empty.
Ah, that was good.
Well, after a big breakfast like that, Goldilocks felt very sleepy. So she climbed up the stairs and found a cozy little bedroom with 3 beds. First, Goldilocks tried the great big bed, but...
Oh, this bed is much too hard.
Next, she tried the middle-sized bed, but...
Oh, this bed is much too soft.
Finally, Goldilocks tried the tiny little bed in the corner, and...
Ah, this bed is just right.
Goldilocks pulled a nice warm blanket right up to her chin and rested her head on a fluffy little pillow. Oh my, everything felt so cozy that Goldilocks fell fast asleep. Just then, the 3 bears came back from their walk. And when they saw the door to their little house standing wide open, they hurried inside. Right away, they could see that someone had been in their home.
Hey, someone's been sitting in my chair,
Said Papa Bear.
Someone's been sitting in my chair.
Said Mama Bear.
Someone's been sitting in my chair, too.
Said Baby Bear.
And look, it's broken all to pieces.
Next, the 3 bears looked in their kitchen.
Hey, someone's been eating my porridge,
Said Papa Bear.
Someone's been eating my porridge.
Said Mama Bear.
Someone's been eating my porridge, too.
Said Baby Bear.
And look, it's all gone.
Finally, the 3 bears climbed the stairs, up, up to their bedroom to have a look around.
Hey, someone's been sleeping in my bed,
Said Papa Bear.
Someone's been sleeping in my bed.
Said Mama Bear.
Someone's been sleeping in my bed, too.
Said Baby Bear.
And look, she's still here. Oh.
Suddenly, Goldilocks woke up and saw those 3 bears looking at her.
Uh-oh.
Then Papa Bear said,
Hello, little girl. Are you the one who has made a mess of our nice clean house?
but Goldilocks didn't understand the way bears talk. So what she heard was this.
Oh! Oh dear! Oh my!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Goldilocks was so frightened that she jumped out of bed and ran past the bears and down the stairs and past the chairs and out the door and through the woods, and she kept on running until she found her way home. And so, from that day to this, Goldilocks has never gone back to that little house in the deep green woods. And the three bears always remember to lock their door when they go for a nice, long walk. The end. Oh, I just love that story, don't you? It's fun to imagine that you're walking around in the three bears' house and seeing all the things that Goldilocks saw. And do you know what? I think that you must have the same kind of bed that Baby Bear had. Let's see. It's not too hard. It's not too soft. No, I think your bed is just right. For a cozy night's sleep. Time to sleep, time to dream, little one. Close your eyes, covers up, night has come.
It's bedtime with Barney.
Let's turn out the light.
Bedtime with Barney.
I love you, good night. Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Hold me tight, snuggle up, day is done.
It's bedtime with Barney all over the world. Bedtime with Barney for all boys and girls.
Oh, I love story time. Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Let me read just for you. You're the one.
It's bedtime with Barney, so come gather round. Bedtime with Barney.
And we're story bound. Hi there, it's me, your friend Barney. And I've got such a fun story just for you. So, are you ready to listen? Nice and comfy? Great! My story is called The Little Porridge Pot. And do you know what porridge is? Right! It's a yummy, ooshy-gooshy kind of cereal that you cook on a stove. Sort of like oatmeal. Now, while I tell the story, you can just relax and use your imagination. Ready? Then here we go. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Anna who was sweet and kind, but very poor. One day, Anna's mother looked in the cupboard and said,
We have no food at all, not even a bite. What will we do?
Don't worry, Mama.
said brave little Anna.
I will go to the woods and find nuts and berries for us to eat.
Anna walked deep into the beautiful green woods until she reached a great big tree that grew good-tasting nuts. But
Oh no! The squirrels have eaten every nut.
so Anna walked deeper into the woods until she came to a patch of berry bushes. But
Oh dear, the birds have eaten every berry.
so Anna walked until she found a fine old apple tree. And
Oh look, there is one shiny red apple hanging on the tree.
Anna carefully climbed up the tree and picked the apple.
This will be a fine supper for my mother and me.
But when Anna climbed back down to the ground, she got a surprise.
Hello, little girl.
Hello.
It was a very old woman, dressed in clothes that were tattered and torn.
Little girl, I am so hungry. May I please have that apple?
Anna knew that if she gave away the apple, she and her mother would have nothing to eat. But
You look so hungry. And it is nice to share. Here, you may have the apple.
and as soon as the old woman took the apple, something wonderful happened.
Oh my, she's changing.
As Anna watched, the old woman turned into a young and beautiful lady. She was wearing a long dress made of bright green leaves, and in her hair was a crown made of flowers.
I am the Lady of the Woods. Because you were nice enough to share with me, I have a present for you. Take this.
Why, It's a little cooking pot.
And it's very special when you say, "Cook, little pot, cook." It will bubble and boil and fill with porridge. And when you say, "Stop, little pot, stop," it will stop cooking.
Oh, thank you.
Anna waved goodbye and hurried home to show her mother the wonderful gift.
Mother, look!
They put the little cooking pot on the kitchen table, and then Anna said,
Cook, little pot, cook.
the little cooking pot started to bubble and boil. And soon it was full of nice hot porridge. Anna and her mother quickly filled their bowls and took a taste.
It tastes so good.
They were so hungry that they ate and ate. And when they couldn't eat even one more bite, Anna said,
Stop, little pot, stop.
and the little cooking pot stopped. And for many fine days after that, whenever they got hungry, Anna said,
Cook, little pot, cook.
and when they had eaten enough, Anna said,
Stop, little pot, stop.
Then one shiny summer morning, Anna went to visit her grandfather, who lived in another village. Anna's mother stayed at home, and when lunchtime came, she was feeling very hungry. She looked at the empty cooking pot on the table and said,
Let's see. Now, what are the words that Anna uses? Oh, yes. Cook, little pot, cook.
and the little cooking pot started to bubble and boil, and soon it was almost full of porridge. So Anna's mother said,
Enough, little pot, enough. I said, enough, little pot, enough.
but those weren't the right words, and the little cooking pot kept right on cooking. The porridge bubbled up to the top of the pot and started pouring down onto the table, and then onto the floor.
Oh, no. What are the words I have to say? I can't remember. Oh, no more, little pot, no more.
Uh-oh, those weren't the right words either. And the little pot kept cooking until the whole floor was covered with gooey porridge. And Anna's mother had to run outside.
My goodness, what a mess. And the porridge is right behind me.
Anna's mother hurried down the street, calling to the neighbors.
Leave your homes, the porridge is coming.
And it was. The porridge slurped and slurped all the way to the neighbor's house. And the house next to that. The porridge went over fences and under gates, around trees and through people's yards. It went indoors and came out windows, and before long, everyone had to leave their homes.
Oh, I wish I could remember those words.
Just then, Anna came walking back from visiting her grandfather, and she was very surprised to see her village being covered with porridge.
It must be coming from my little cooking pot.
Anna knew the special words she had to say, and if you know the words, you can say them too. Ready?
Stop, little pot, stop.
And the little cooking pot stopped. Everyone cheered, and Anna's mother gave her a big hug.
My little Anna, I love you so much.
I love you too, Mama.
And when the people of the village finally tasted the porridge, they loved it too, which was a very good thing, because the only way to get rid of all that porridge was to eat every last bit of it. And that's just what they did. The end. I hope you liked that funny story. Just imagine, if you had a little cooking pot like that, what kind of food would you like it to make? And who would you invite to a party to share all that yummy food? That's something fun that you can think about. Or maybe even something fun for you to dream about tonight. Time to sleep, time to dream, little one. Close your eyes, covers up, night has come.
It's bedtime with Barney.
Let's turn out the light.
Bedtime with Barney.
I love you, good night. Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Hold me tight, snuggle up, day is done.
It's bedtime with Barney all over the world. Bedtime with Barney for all boys and girls.
Oh, I love story time. Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Let me read just for you. You're the one.
It's bedtime with Barney, so come gather round. Bedtime with Barney.
And we're story bound. Hi there, this is your friend Barney, and I've got such a fun story just for you. It comes all the way from the country of Japan, and the story is called Roly-Poly Rice Ball. A rice ball is a yummy treat that the Japanese people make with sweetened rice. They squeeze it and pat it and roll it into a little ball about the size of an egg. Mmm, delicious. Now, get nice and cozy. There. And while I tell the story, you can use your imagination. Now, here we go. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago in Japan, a farmer and his wife lived with their 2 sons. One little boy acted very good and kind,
My name is Yosaku.
but the other little boy acted naughty sometimes.
My name is Osamu.
One day, good little Yosaku decided to go for a walk, and his mother made 2 delicious rice balls for him to carry.
Thank you.
Yosaku walked a very long time until he reached a spot where a little bird sang, and the air smelled like cherry blossoms, and the snow-topped mountain pointed up at the morning sun.
Oh, it is so pretty here. This is where I will eat my rice balls.
But as Yosaku took the rice balls from his pocket, one fell on the ground, and then it rolled, and rolled, and rolled until it fell into a little hole, and out of that hole came a little voice.
Rice ball, roly-poly rice ball. Rice ball, 1 roly-poly rice ball.
That was funny. Let me try again.
Yosaku dropped his other rice ball on the ground, and sure enough, it rolled straight to the little hole in the ground and dropped in.
Rice ball, roly-poly rice ball. Rice ball, 2 roly-poly rice ball.
Yosaku laughed and clapped with delight. And when he did, a tiny gray mouse popped up from the hole.
Oh.
But this was not a mouse like other mice. This mouse was dressed like a little man, wearing a fine silk robe and with tiny wooden sandals upon his feet. The mouse bowed politely to Yosaku, And Yosaku also bowed, because this shows good manners in Japan,
The rice balls were most delicious.
said the mouse.
I thank you.
You are very welcome.
Said Yosaku. Then the mouse, whose name was Papa, clapped his hands 1, 2, 3 times. And suddenly, many mice came climbing out of the hole, all dressed in the most beautiful little clothes. There was a mama mouse and lots of young boy and girl mice.
You have a very fine family.
Thank you.
And then they all had a wonderful party. The mice danced for Yosaku and told stories and sang songs. Many hours later, it was time for Yosaku to leave. So Papa Mouse clapped his hands and said,
Children, bring a gift for our new friend.
and the mice ran into the bushes, then brought back 2 boxes, a great big fancy box and a small plain box.
You may choose 1 box.
I do not need much, so I will take the small box. Thank you.
When Yosaku arrived at home, he told his parents and his brother the whole story. And when he opened the small box, everyone got a big surprise.
It is full of treasure. Look, there are diamonds and other jewels of many colors, and I will share with all of you.
Everyone was very happy, except for Osamu.
You should have taken the big box and gotten even more treasure.
And the next day, Osamu took 2 rice balls from his father's lunch bag, then hurried out into the woods until he found the spot where a little bird sang, and the air smelled like cherry blossoms, and the snow-topped mountain pointed up at the morning sun.
Yes, this is the place my brother spoke of.
But Osamu did not want to share his rice balls with the mouse.
I will eat these good rice balls myself.
And soon he had eaten everything except for a few grains of rice.
Now I will make new rice balls.
And Osamu scooped mud and grass into 2 little balls, then patted in the few small grains of rice. Uh-oh. Do you think he's doing something naughty? When those dirty rice balls were done, Osamu dropped one on the ground, and it rolled and rolled and rolled until it found the little hole and dropped right in.
Rice ball. Muddy, messy rice ball. Rice ball. 1 muddy, messy rice ball.
Quickly, Osamu rolled the other dirty rice ball into the hole.
Rice ball. Muddy, messy rice ball. Rice ball. 2 muddy, messy rice balls.
Then Papa Mouse came climbing up out of the hole. The mouse bowed to Osamu, but Osamu did not bow, and that was very rude. Still, Papa Mouse tried to be friendly.
Thank you for the rice balls,
He said to Osamu.
but I am afraid they are not good enough to eat.
They are good enough for a mouse like you. Now, where is my gift?
Papa Mouse did not look happy, but he clapped his hands once, twice, 3 times. And the mouse family, wearing their beautiful tiny clothes, came hurrying out of the hole.
Children, bring a gift for our new friend.
And the young mice ran into the bushes and brought back 2 boxes, a big fancy box and a small plain box.
Give me the big box. Ha ha ha.
And Osamu grabbed the big box and ran away without even saying thank you. When Osamu got home, he called his parents and his brother to come and look.
You see, Yosaku, my box will even have more treasure inside, and I will not share with anyone.
Then Osamu opened the box, and inside there were all the colors of beautiful jewels. But when Osamu reached for his treasure, he found out that the colors were on butterflies' wings.
Butterflies? A box of butterflies?
And suddenly, every butterfly started to fly, and every one of them flew away on the summer breeze, leaving only an empty box for Osamu.
I wanted too much, and now I have nothing,
said Osamu. But his brother Yosaku smiled and said,
I will still share my treasure with you if you promise that you will be good and kind from now on.
And from that day on, they all lived happily ever after. The end. Oh, that was a fun story. Can you imagine all of those little mice singing and dancing right in your room? And right now, I think it's time for you to snuggle up and start some nice dreams. Time to sleep, time to dream, little one. Close your eyes, covers up, night has come.
It's bedtime with Barney.
Let's turn out the light.
Bedtime with Barney.
I love you, good night. Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Hold me tight, snuggle up, day is done.
It's bedtime with Barney all over the world. Bedtime with Barney for all boys and girls.
Oh, I love story time. Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Let me read just for you. You're the one.
It's bedtime with Barney, so come gather round. Bedtime with Barney.
And we're story bound. Hello again. This is your friend Barney, and I've got a story just for you. The story is called The Turnip. And do you know what a turnip is? It's a little round vegetable about the size of a baseball. And when it grows, most of it is down in the ground. But the top pokes up out of the ground and has pretty green leaves. Now, are you ready to be a good listener? Are you cozy? Great! Now, while I tell the story, you can use your imagination. Here we go. Once upon a time, in a country called Russia, there was a nice little farm with a few ducks and chickens and just one cow. And this little farm was the home of a nice old man and the wife he loved very much.
Tomorrow, Irina, I will plant vegetables in our little field.
Oh, Vladimir, you should plant some turnips. They are my favorite.
Then you can make turnip stew, and that is my favorite.
So on the morning of a beautiful spring day, the old man went out to his field and got ready to plant seeds.
This year I will grow the very best vegetables in the village. First, I will hoe the ground.
And the old man took his hoe, which is something you use to dig in the dirt, and he made nice deep holes in the ground.
Now I will plant the seeds.
And the old man planted carrot seeds, and lettuce seeds, and lots of other seeds.
And last, I will plant some turnips because my wife Irina loves turnips best of all.
But when the old man looked into his bag of turnip seeds...
What? There is only one turnip seed. Well, I'll just have to do the best I can. I will plant this one little turnip seed, and I will take very good care of it.
Then the old man covered all of the seeds with dirt and sprinkled them with water. And when he was all finished, he got down on his hands and knees right where he had planted that one little turnip seed. And he bent his face down very close to the ground. And this is what he said.
Grow, little turnip, grow!
And then, because he had worked all day and the sun was going down, the old man packed up his garden tools and went home to his wife. And he ate a good hot dinner of red beet soup. But late that night, the turnip started to grow. And it grew, and grew, and grew. The next morning, when the old man and his wife came out to have a look, they couldn't believe what they saw.
Vladimir, look!
The turnip! It has grown in a single night.
And it is the biggest turnip in the world.
And they were right. That turnip was so big that the two of them could barely reach around it. And the big green leaves on top were as tall as the old man's hat.
You know, a turnip this big would make a lot of turnip stew.
And I would be happy to cook it.
Well then, I'll just pull this turnip right out of the ground. Stand back.
And the old man wrapped his arms around that big turnip and he pulled just as hard as he could. But the turnip didn't move. No, not at all.
Phew! I need help, Irina. Please wrap your arms around me and help me pull.
Of course, dear.
Ready? Pull!
And the old woman pulled the old man, and the old man pulled the turnip, but the turnip didn't move. No, not at all.
Wait here, Vladimir. I have an idea.
And the old woman went next door and got the little girl who lived there. And when they returned, the old man said,
Good, let us all try together now. Pull!
And the little girl pulled the old woman, and the old woman pulled the old man, and the old man pulled that turnip. But the turnip didn't move. No, not at all. And the little girl said,
Let me get my brother. He can help.
And so the little girl ran to get her brother. And when they both returned, everyone stood in a long, straight line, holding on to each other.
Ready? Pull!
And the little boy pulled the little girl. The little girl pulled the old woman. The old woman pulled the old man. And the old man pulled the turnip. But, oh, the turnip didn't move. No, not at all. So the little boy said,
My dog is very strong. I will get him to help.
And the little boy ran to get his dog, a big, strong dog called a Siberian Husky. And when the two of them returned, everyone tried again.
Ready? Pull!
And the dog pulled the little boy. The little boy pulled the little girl. The little girl pulled the old woman. The old woman pulled the old man. And the old man pulled the turnip. And nothing happened. The turnip didn't move. No, not at all. So the dog went to ask the cat to help. And when the two of them returned, everyone tried again.
Ready? Pull!
The dog pulled the little boy. The little boy pulled the little girl. The little girl pulled the old woman. The old woman pulled the old man. The old man pulled the turnip. And this time, the turnip didn't move. No, not at all. So what do you think that cat did? That's right. She ran into the barn and asked a tiny little brown mouse to help. And when the two of them returned, everyone tried again. Say, maybe you can pretend to pull this time too.
Ready? Pull!
And the little mouse pulled the cat. The cat pulled the dog. The dog pulled the little boy. The little boy pulled the little girl. The little girl pulled the old woman. The old woman pulled the old man. And the old man pulled the turnip. And that giant turnip came right up out of the ground, and everyone fell down.
There it is at last. The biggest turnip in all the world.
And now, let us roll this giant turnip back to the house, and I will make turnip stew for everyone.
And when they got that giant turnip home, the old woman made the most delicious turnip stew ever, which they all sat down and ate together. And do you know what? That turnip was so big that they're probably still eating turnip stew to this very day. The end. Oh, that was a funny story, wasn't it? I didn't think that turnip would ever come up. Can you imagine what your favorite vegetable would be like if it was giant size? And how would that look on your table? Anyway, now that we're done pulling up that turnip, why don't you pull up your blanket for a good night's sleep? Time to sleep, time to dream, little one. Close your eyes, covers up, night has come.
It's bedtime with Barney.
Let's turn out the light.
Bedtime with Barney.
Shh. I love you, good night. Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Hold me tight, snuggle up, day is done.
It's bedtime with Barney all over the world. Bedtime with Barney for all boys and girls.
Oh, I love story time. Now it's time, snuggle up, little one. Let me read just for you, you're the one.
It's bedtime with Barney, so come gather round.
Bedtime with Barney.
And we're story bound. Hello again. This is your friend Barney, and I've got a story just for you. Did you ever wonder where shoes come from? Do you think that maybe shoes grow on a great big bush? No, there are people who make shoes, like the man in our story tonight. It's called The Shoemaker and the Elves, and it's really fun. So get all nice and settled in. There. Now, while I tell the story, you can just relax and use your imagination. Here we go. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a little old shoemaker who lived with his wife in the back of their small shoe store. And even though they worked hard, They were very poor.
Look, I only have one piece of leather left to make one last pair of shoes to sell.
Do not be so sad. You are such a good man that surely good things will happen. Maybe tomorrow.
Yes, maybe tomorrow. You go on to bed now, and I'll be along soon.
And standing at his workbench, the old shoemaker carefully cut the leather into just the right-shaped pieces to make a pair of shoes. Then he said,
"Oh, I'm too tired to work more tonight. I will just leave these pieces here and make them into shoes in the morning."
Then he turned off the light and went to bed. But later that night, something happened. I wonder what all of that was. Oh, anyway, the next morning, the shoemaker and his wife walked back into the store and got a big surprise.
Why, look, there, on my workbench.
It is a pair of shoes, and they are the most beautiful shoes that you have ever made.
Yes, but I didn't make them.
So the shoemaker put the new shoes into the front window of his shoe store. And just as soon as he did, a man came into the store and bought those shoes with a shiny gold coin.
Oh, this is wonderful with this gold coin. I can buy enough leather to make 2 pairs of shoes to sell.
And there will be money for some food. I'm so happy.
That night, after a very tasty dinner, the old shoemaker cut his new leather into just the right-shaped pieces to make 2 pairs of shoes.
Now, let's see what happens tonight.
Then he turned out the light and went to bed. And the next morning, what do you think they found?
Oh, look!
2 pairs of shoes, all finished and ready to sell. And they were just as beautifully made as the first pair.
How can this be?
It is just as I said before. Good things are happening because you are such a good man.
And so it became kind of a happy game for the shoemaker and his wife. Every night he would lay out the pieces of leather, and every morning he would find a workbench full of wonderful shoes that people couldn't wait to buy. In a few months, the shoemaker and his wife had all the money they would ever need. And one day, the old woman said to her husband,
Who do you think has been doing this wonderful thing for us?
I don't know, but I think tonight we should find out.
And that night, the shoemaker laid out the pieces of leather just as he always did and turned out the light. But then, the shoemaker and his wife hid themselves in a dark corner of the store and waited. Nothing happened for the longest time, but just as the clock struck 12, something happened. The door to the store opened, and in ran 2 little elves. They looked like tiny little men, no bigger than dolls, with funny little white beards. They were carrying tiny little toolboxes. And although their clothing was dirty and torn, the 2 elves seemed very happy as they skipped and hopped and jumped right up onto the workbench. And as the shoemaker and his wife watched, the little elves took out their tiny little tools and started making shoes. The little hammer went tap, 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 and the needle and thread went in and out, in and out. And the elves worked so quickly that before long, the workbench was filled with wonderful shoes. And when every bit of leather was used up, the elves hopped down from the workbench and hurried out the door. Well, the shoemaker and his wife could hardly believe what they had seen.
So these are the ones who have helped us. I wish there was something nice that we could do for them.
Well, their little clothes are falling apart. Perhaps I could sew them some brand new clothes.
That's a wonderful idea.
And the next day, the shoemaker's wife sewed 2 suits of tiny little clothes. She made shirts, pants, coats, and caps, and even knitted some tiny little socks. Oh, they're so cute. And the shoemaker was busy making the tiniest little shoes you can imagine.
They're all finished.
That night, the shoemaker and his wife spread the little clothes out on the workbench. Then they turned out the lights and went to their hiding place. And late that night, just at 12 o'clock, the door opened and in ran those 2 little elves. They jumped up onto the workbench. And when they saw those little clothes, do you think they were happy? Yes, they were. Ho, ho, those little fellows put on their new clothes just as fast as they could. They liked them so much that they did a little dance. And then, by the light of the moon, the little man jumped off the workbench and ran out the door. And that was the last time that the elves visited the shoemaker. Oh, but the shoemaker and his wife didn't mind.
The elves already did so many good things for us. We don't need any more.
And maybe they're doing good deeds for someone else, still wearing their nice little suits.
And maybe they are. I really don't know. But I do know one thing. The old shoemaker and his wife lived happily ever after. The end. Oh, wasn't that a fun story? Can you imagine what it would be like to have those nice little elves come every night and make something very special just for you? Of course, elves are only in our imaginations, and they don't really come to visit. But I do think that if you turn out the lights, something nice really will happen for you tomorrow, after a good night's sleep. Time to sleep, time to dream, little one. Close your eyes, covers up, night has come.
It's bedtime with Barney.
Let's turn